This channel is for entertainment purposes only, not to be taken as legal advice. Thank you. Welcome, everybody. It's Thursday. Oh my gosh, the week is going by fast. And it is this weekend on Saturday. It's my birthday. It's the birthday. I am the birthday boy for this Saturday. I won't say how old I am. I'm trying to forget, so I'll be working hard on Saturday to forget. But it's going to be amazing. Good time with the family and everything. And for a special birthday thing, I want to give some special announcements that are happening at Creditor Academy. One of the huge announcements is the implementation of all the courses that we are putting onto our platform. I got to tell you, it's quite extensive. I wanted to kind of review a little bit of what it's going to be like when you come to Creditor Academy and you see the platform, and then we'll get into today's lesson, which is a really big one. Today we'll be discussing Patrick Devine's endorsement that he used on the back of all of his bills to discharge his stuff. After he had his treasury account and all of that, there was a specific endorsement that he utilized. And so you just copy the endorsement, and then he pasted it on the back of the bills and then filled in the blanks for what needed to be filled out about the bill. So I'll show you guys the example of that. We are, first of all, for everybody who becomes a member of Creditor Academy, for our masterclass, the freshman level is where everybody starts. The Patrick Devine files are included. Everybody and their mama gets the Patrick Devine files. It is our way to pay tribute to such an instrumental and influential person, to not only the lives of many, like all the viewers here, but also to me. I mean, he's really changed my life in my understanding in this movement. So I want everybody to have that accessibility. And so your membership will include that, among other things. Now, what is it also your membership about to include with your masterclass is the LMS system. I made a huge announcement on Tuesday to kind of talk about Creditor Academy, which we are a private education association. And everybody was like, what does that mean, Paul Michael? All right, you're a private school, but what kind of school are you? How are you teaching us? I'm really biased. I went to private school for a majority of my life until college. And I went to a Montessori school until 8th grade. So the Montessori method is what I grew up knowing and what I really enjoy. And what I like about it is it's self-paced. If you're not familiar with the Montessori method, it really just means that you can only progress onto the next grade level or into the next lesson after you mastered your understanding of the lesson prior, right? Which was great because unlike public school systems, it's not a teacher teaching a class in accordance to the slowest student, and then the fast students or the highest performing students in the class have to be kept waiting for everybody else to catch up. So Montessori is you go as fast as you want. If you get through the whole grade level, you can literally go on to the next grade and catch up. It's the same thing at Creditor Academy. I want you all to learn at your own pace. We have 4 different classes. We have freshman, sophomore, junior, senior courses, okay? The freshman is all of the basics that you need to know about this movement. If you've never been in this movement before, we're going to discuss and cover the basics first. What is sovereignty? How do I defend myself in court? How do I resist myself from contracting with these government franchises? How do I protect my rights? And so much more. A lot of court stuff as well. So you need to know the basics of sovereignty first. So we have what's called modules for that. These are self-paced modules. And as you go through the modules, you have an instructor, okay? The self-paced modules are in your own time, but us instructors follow the module regimen. So you'll wake up on Monday or Tuesday and Wednesday. You'll come to the assigned class times, and an instructor will be teaching in accordance to the modules. Then we do question and answer time, where we answer the questions of the students depending on what modules that they're on. So some of you might be fast. You might be like, hey, I'm on this module. Let me ask a question. Some people might be slower, and that's okay, because that's the beauty of a Montessori. We can stick to a lesson plan, but we can answer questions and help you where you're at. So that's freshman year. Sophomore year is action. That's become private. That's your SPC. That's your status correction. That's your ID and badge that's included in your sophomore year. Your junior year is now that you become private, now you need to know how to operate in the private. Does that make sense? If you become private, now you're just like, okay, great. I did the SPC work. I have this bond pull, Michael. Now, how do I operate? How do I get a house, get a car, operate my business? Everything is in operating private. We do business trusts, private membership associations, wholesale real estate, and we're adding another one that is not ready enough to announce. And we finally have senior year, which is the unlimited private credits. Now you got your private entities, you become private. Now, how do you gain access to your unlimited credits? Right now, we do the full credit review. We show you how to do it. We have a step-by-step plan. Our average is $200,000 in 3 months. That's pretty much where we're at. You can confidently say that. You know, there is no guarantees because people move at their own pace. It may take a little bit longer, but if you stick to the program, that should be your end result. So now you got everything. You protected your sovereignty by becoming private. You learned the basics of how what sovereignty is. You know how to operate privately, and now you can utilize your credits to acquire whatever you want, especially to attribute to your vision and dream for yourself, your family, and your community. So that's Creditor Academy as a whole. You can go to creditoracademy.com. If you would like to fill out the Contact Us form, you can email us or call our hotline number Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. And if you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, we just hit 8,000 subscribers. Super huge achievement. So if you have not become a member of Creditor Academy, now is the time that I would recommend to do it so you don't miss out. All right, let's go in today's lesson plan. Let's go over Patrick Devine. So in order for you guys to kind of see the visual reference of the endorsement itself, you need to have an understanding about what brings this endorsement its power, okay? So really these types of endorsements, they're utilized after you've become private, your SPC and your status correction, okay? You need to have that done in order for this to be utilized, okay? This is a document that Patrick Devine wrote himself. It's called Bills of Credit in UCC Contract Law, a shadow money. Shadow money. This is a viewpoint to this document run right here. Understanding the two money governments of America. Okay, the non-UCC and the UCC. Okay, so I want to cover this one first, and then we'll go into the bills of credit to know the difference. Okay, the non-UCC of 1787 is the Constitution for the United States of America, the Universal Hard Asset Labor Money Monetary Corporation. Labor is tax exempt, and bankers cannot claim a usury bar interest on this money. This is our superior banking contract. I go over the non-UCC, not and become private, but operate privately. I actually spoke about it this Tuesday when I was talking to you guys about promissory notes, Ferraris, how to get one, how to apply a security agreement and a non-UCC for a superior lien, and how to utilize your credits in order to obtain the Ferrari and protect the asset and have a superior claim. So in operating private, we use non-UCCs all of the time, Now, there is the UCC, which was established in 1913. which is the all caps United States Universal Commercial UCC Contract Trust paper money system. This is your UCC shadow monetary corporation, which we're going to touch again in the bills of credit. It's run by the shadow bar UCC bankers as foreign kleptocracy on unconstitutional UCC contract trust, usury government. Kleptocracy, if you don't know, is rule by political and judicial bar UCC thieves. Okay. There's two forms of the UCC commercial construction contract, paper money for debts and credits. And it's set up under two construction bonds. One is a UCC contractor surety performance bond and a payment labor bond as a combined fully funded contractor's fidelity bond. Okay. Who are the contractors? So let's address that really quickly. Who are the contractors? I want to give you guys a visual reference of this. Okay. And then I'll come back to that. Imagine there is there's your Sista KV trust that I talked about last week. Your Sista KV trust, where mama is the grantor and the trustees is Uncle Sam, the government, and you are the beneficiary. Okay. You're the beneficiary of this trust. Okay. The person who has control of this Sista KV trust account is Uncle Sam. Now, the thing about a trust is that there is a declaration or an indenture agreement to every trust, right? It tells the rules, the laws, the regulations, okay, and all the powers of the trustees. The beneficiary has the rightful title of all the, in this case, unlimited credits, and has proof of it through the birth certificate. Beneficiaries get what's called certificates of trust. These certificates of trust outline your rightful title or ownership or beneficial ownership in the property, the money, or the investments that are held inside of the trust. Now, here's something a beneficiary cannot do. Is a beneficiary does not have control over the trust. If they go to the trustee, Uncle Sam in this case, and say, hey, Uncle Sam, can I have me some money? Can I get $1? And the trustee says no. They're in full control. They can say, no, for your benefit, we are going to control this account on your behalf, and you don't have any say in it, right? And then you might say, well, I'm the beneficiary. Can I see the declaration of trust document or the indenture agreement that is behind this trust? No, because it's none of your business. Beneficiaries cannot see this documentation. That's why there's a lot of questions in the movement. What does that document say? We only have certificates to show that we're the rightful beneficial holders, but we don't know the mechanism of it, right? So what do we got to do? What we got to do is we have to change the trustees, okay? We have to remove the trustee. This is what's called a notification of record, okay? You're notifying that you're going to change the trustee and you're going to change the trust structure. But how do you do that? How do you do that? You ever thought of that? How do you remove a trustee from their position when you're a beneficiary? It's very hard to do. It's almost impossible. But Patrick Devine tells us the answer. The only way to remove a trustee from their position is to prove that they broke their fiduciary duty, that they did not act in the best interest of the beneficiary, and that they were racketeering, which is what they were doing. You see, when you're the trustee of the Sista KV trust, the entities that the trustee uses, or vendors or contractors, as we just read, the contractors are government-funded organizations. So, for example, let's say little Timmy or my daughter. You know, I can't even imagine my daughter would ever disagree with me. You know, she's 8 months old. She's still growing. I can't imagine she would disagree with me or that we would ever get in a fight. But it may happen. It might happen. I'm optimistic. I'll just say that. So, but if that day came and she went ahead and didn't like what daddy was saying, or maybe my capital punishment was not something that she liked, she could pick up the phone and call CPS. Because call CPS. And CPS is a contractor to the trustees of the Sister KV Trust, which is my daughter's birth certificate, right? So now the trustee of her birth certificate, of her Sister KV Trust, that trustee is now looking at me as a foreign invader. And the trustee's duty and responsibility is to protect the trust and the beneficiaries at all costs. The father is now the problem. We need to hire out these contractors in order to deal with the foreign invader. And this is why parents lose their children, why fathers can't win in court, and why kids unknowingly, not knowing the true consequences out of anger in that moment, could totally ruin the family relationship. That trustee position is powerful. So you need to take control of it. How do you take control of it? It's a notification of record. It's saying and showing that, hey, I want to not only replace this trust structure, the existing one, but I also want to point out that you're in breach of your fiduciary duty, not being in the best interest of the beneficiary. Does that make sense? Okay. All right, back to this. So with that being said, the contractor's performance and payment bonds are to fulfill CPS's duties, responsibilities, and all that. And that's why they get it from the commercial construction contract, which is the paper money of your trust, of your UCC Shadow Monetary Corporation. It's an entity. Your birth certificate is a corporation. It's an entity. So they're using that entity through the UCC to get the performance and payment bonds to pay the contractors for the labor that's needed in order to protect the trust. Okay. So Federal Reserve notes debt paper money is to be set off by bills of credit. We're going to go into bills of credit in a moment. Credit paper money. If there is no bill of value, then there can be no charge or debt, no contract. Okay. You are the owner of your UCC contract trust, three-sided houses of the UCC paper money. How it goes is the following. Side one is the paper house foundation, is your owner's signature. You create the credits with your signature as the shadow foundation of your inherent and physical labor credits loaned as the initial UCC contract trust credits to the UCC contractor. The second part of this is the UCC debt money created by the contractor itself as the shadow debt paper, promises to pay or promissory note. We discussed that last time. The credits when demanded. This is the national debt, the shadow debt money that is in circulation today. And then finally, which we're going to cover right here, is the UCC credit money in the form of bills of credit as the shadow surety bill to release the credits when you, as the owner, acknowledge, endorse, and return them to the contractor. They now owe the IRS a 1099-C showing the debt has been canceled. So let me give you a better visual reference of these three sides. The side one is your signature. Your signature is the labor. It develops the credits, okay? And it draws as a loan from the UCC contract trust credits to the UCC contractor. The UCC contractor can be anybody. The contractor could be CPS. It could be the bank. It could be, I mean, there's endless contractors. Then the debt money that is issued to these contractors is now created by the contractor. Okay, this is shadow debt paper. And this is what builds up the national debt. So what Patrick is saying is because you're putting your signature with these contractors, it's increasing the national debt because they're utilizing these credits to contribute to it. So what he's suggesting is to do this. He's suggesting to use your UCC credit money in the form of a bills of credit. Okay. All you have to do is when you get a bill is to acknowledge and endorse and return it to the original contractor. And now they owe the IRS a 1099-C showing that the debt is canceled. And in turn, what that does is it actually reduces the national debt that was created because you canceled the debt. So now you're reducing it. Okay. So how do you do that? Well, now we go into this document by Patrick Devine called Bills of Credit in UCC Contract Law of Shadow Money. Per the Constitution for the United States of America, Article 1, Section 10, no state shall enter into any treaty, alliance, or confederation, grant letters of marque and reprisal, coin money, emit bills of credit, make anything but gold and silver coin in a tender in payment of debts, pass any bill of attainder, ex post facto law, or law impairing the obligation of contracts. Law impairing the obligation of contracts. Nothing can impair you to contract or grant any title of nobility. If they do, they are foreign state of constitutional surrection. So Patrick continues. Here is the kicker. The all caps United States, which is the for-profit corporation, and the state of Washington, for example, which is a for-profit corporation, and licensed banks are foreign states, and they do not fall under the above restriction. Therefore, every bill is commercial money, and it is a state or bank bill of credit. This could be your traffic ticket, your tax bill. For those of you who might become private, this is huge. This is what I talk about the most in Become Private, is how to deal with taxes. And bills of credit is a powerful way to do it, as well as accepted for value. Court charges, etc., which they issue as a draw upon the credit they hold under their commercial construction contracts. This is the driver's license. This is the mortgage. This is a certificate of title to a vehicle, a house, or any other property. This is the marriage certificate. This is the birth certificate. This is the Social Security account, etc., all being backed by the performance bond or payment bonds. Endorse it as a bill of state credit, and per the UCC demand, the payment or commercial charge then is settled. At any state banking window, clerk of court, state treasury, or licensed bank, demand a copy of the 1099-C showing the debt cancellation. So what he's saying is after you put down the endorsement, ask for this in return, so then you have verification that the debt was canceled. If you don't have that verification that the debt was canceled, then it wasn't canceled. And now they just took your bill of credit and they can write more performance and payment bonds. And if they don't give you a 1099-C, guess what they're in violation of? Tax fraud. Tax fraud. So let's look over what the definition of a bill of credit is. It's a paper issued by a state, all caps, for profit, intended to circulate as money or to answer the ordinary purposes of money. American Jurisprudence, first version, money, chapter 17. Now, what is a bill of credit? Continued. It is provided by the Constitution of the United States, Article 1, Section 10, that no state shall emit bills of credit or make anything but gold and silver coin a tender in payment or debts. Such bills of credit are declared to mean promissory notes or bills issued exclusively on the credit of the state, and for the payment of which the faith of the state only is pledged. The prohibition, therefore, does not apply to the notes of a state bank drawn on the credit of a particular fund set apart for the purposes of Second M Cords, more case law. Bills of credit may be defined to be paper issued and intended to circulate through the community for its ordinary purposes as money redeemable at a future date. That's huge. This phrase is used in another sense among merchants. It is a letter sent by an agent or other person to a merchant desiring him to give credit to the bearer for goods or money. In your freshman year, or excuse me, your freshman course here at Creditor Academy, we have a whole module and lesson plan dedicated to what a merchant versus a buyer is. A merchant is a creditor. When you read this, that this phrase is used in another sense among merchants is a letter of credit sent by an agent or another person to a merchant desiring to give credit to a bearer for goods. That's the borrower. That's the borrower, right? You need to have your SPC done to be able to do this. Bills of credits is only for merchants. That's secured party creditors. Those are individuals that replace the SISTA KV trust with their own private trust. Okay. Bills of credit in constitutional law. A bill or promissory note issued by government of a state or nation upon its faith and credit, full faith and credit, I might add, designed to circulate in the community as money and redeemable at a future day. In mercantile law, a license or authority given in writing from one person to another. Very common among merchants, bankers, and those who travel, empowering a person to receive or take up money of their correspondents abroad. Okay, so let's get an example here. This is the example. This is how Patrick Devine endorsed the back of his bills, whatever the bills may be. Like we went through the examples through courts, traffic tickets, or anything like that. It goes to say, and everything is, I like this because he structured everything he just gave his description in and applied it with even instructions on what to do for the person receiving it. But it says acknowledgement of and endorsement. This bill is acknowledged as a foreign commercial bill of credit for the contractor's credit monetary obligation from your UCC contract trust for the assigned value of $200, whatever your bill is. And per the UCC laws, it is endorsed and returned for set-off and or payment settlement against the noted foreign commercial construction contract number. Who can tell me what the commercial construction contract number is? What's the foreign commercial construction contract number? Just yell it out. You're like, what?
The account number.
The account number, absolutely. It's also the number that's being referenced.
Number.
Yeah, it's the serial number, it's the account number, or it's the number referenced on the ID itself. It could be the birth certificate number, it could be the driver's license number, it could be the account number of your water bill, whatever it might be. But it is it's whatever is in reference to the bill itself and where it's coming from. From the required contractor's surety performance bond and or payment labor bond, or both. Together they are listed and traded as a fidelity bond. The IRS requires a 1099-C be filed by the UCC contractor to show the commercial UCC national debt has been canceled. After 3 days, this action comes under Title 15 USC Section 1 as a charge to the IRS and CID. So he's saying these are the consequences, that they're going to get the IRS and the CID involved. Some people do administrative processes thereafter and to get them into default And this is one of the powerful ways to go about it. And then it's dated, and then it's signed and sealed by your last and first name there. There are many ways to take care of bills. Bills of credit are one of the really powerful ways to go about it, but not the only way. Patrick Devine, what I really liked about his final process is he gave a very clear picture of how the system was operating and how it was working. How we model that at Creditor Academy is by taking the pieces of what Patrick Devine taught and put it into a step-by-step process for you to yield the most amount of results in the shortest period of time. Your freshman year will cover the basics, everything about sovereignty, how to defend yourself, everything that I believe that you need to know right off of the bat, just to kind of know the lingo, the language, and the dictionary terms about the movement. Then you're going to go into become private. If you're ready to take the plunge, if you're ready to say, I'm done learning and listening to people about the subject, and Creditor Academy gave me the basics to everything, I'm now making the first step, which is to take action. Just like in nursing school, I not only had to learn what my teachers were teaching me and read the book, but I also had to demonstrate what I learned. And that's what was called clinicals. Clinicals was the demonstration of what I learned. It's the same for you. There is no learning about becoming private. It's to take action. It's to move forward. It's to make the decision to want to become private. Okay. Then you go on to your next phase, which is wanting to utilize these non-UCCs, these trusts, to operate within your commercial world. So now nothing personally is attached to you anymore. You see, your life, you've been on the hook for obligation with all the contracts you've been signing, because you've been signing with your signature that is attached to the Sista KV trust and your Social Security account, which they give you tremendous amount of consequences. I'm here to say you need to separate all of your assets and your contracts into different private entities. Not only does it protect you, but it also releases you of the obligation that comes along with that contract. Okay. You got to know how to do that. That's business trusts, private membership associations, and we even go through wholesale real estate. The final part is you need access to your unlimited credits. You access them by knowing how to operate in commerce with your private entities. And you utilize your become private status in order to manage your bills and assets. And from that, you will learn the credit game. That's what we're here to teach you, is all about personal and business credit. You cannot get out of the matrix until you learn the game about what money really is. Money is credit. That's why we are Creditor Academy. We want to teach you about how they use and abuse the system against you. But once you learn the game, you flip it on its head, and now it's to your advantage. Now you don't have credit problems anymore. And now there's no such thing as money problems because you have the right understanding. So we're motivated. I'm super motivated to get you to the finish line. Because once you get access to your credits and you have a bulk of capital to invest in your dream, that's where I want to come in. I want to do business with you. It's like you've become private bankers. It is my dream and my mission to create an academy that's robust enough and with the right educators and the right platform. That's why we invested in the best learning management system in the world, for you to get what you need to do to become successful. Because when we're at the end together, now the world's our playground. Let's get real estate. Let's invest in each other's companies. Let's do business ventures together. Let's have hangout time, man. That's what I want. I just want to hang out, you know? And then life is totally different thereafter. And then Creditor Academy just becomes a distant memory, just like it was for me in nursing school. I remember fondly my education. I appreciated my teachers. I loved my clinicals and the experience that I learned from there. And I love my cohorts. I love my fellow classmates. I got to bond and connect with them just like you guys will. And I still bond and connect with them and have connections with them to this day. But I look back at my healthcare career that has been developed, I did it for 7 years. And I look back and I'm like, wow, I would have never had the 7 years of experience and all of these connections and this healthcare knowledge unless I had my foundational learning, which was in nursing school. Creditor Academy is your foundation. We are not the end of your learning. It may continue, but we give you enough of the basics for you to be successful. And we have a tried and true way in order to get you to that success. So then when you get access to your credits, go live your life. If you want to continue learning this subject, you can. Now you have the capital to do it. Go to other organizations or get more classes from us, whatever you decide. Or maybe you might decide, you know what? I got it. Now I want to give back to my community and develop my family and do business things. And you know what? Just like your education, man, it's a full-time job trying to figure out how to spend 200 grand responsibly and grow it and build it from there. But at least you know that if you fail, it doesn't matter because it's on an entity that you control and it's not personally on you. And you just drop that and you restart again. It's a freeing feeling knowing that all this in your head that kept you down about what your life is going to be like in the future and how you're going to afford your bills was not really real in the first place. It's just you didn't know a couple nuggets. That's all. That's really it. No special degree. I'm not anybody special. I'm just some guy on YouTube that you came across. Please subscribe. But yeah, I'm no one special, man. And it's I really believe that you can do it. I really believe it. And I'm sure is confident and going to put my best effort in to give you the best educational experience that you can have, because I didn't get that when I came into that movement, and that would have really helped. So that's where my passion lies. We'll now go to questions. Thank you for listening to me today. No name, no person. Let's go to you. Love that handle.
Greetings, Paul Michael. It's Crown here again.
Oh, it's Crown in the right of the Commonwealth. You got a new one.
I think you mentioned being foreign. Is that where the Foreign Immunities Act comes into play, whether it's America or United States and Australia?
Yeah, absolutely. That's such a good question. I talked about that in the master class today because we were talking about the 3 entities that you have to notify for your SPC paperwork, right? We were talking about the SSN Mort Main account in Puerto Rico, the Treasury Department, and the Enterprise Computing Center, the Enterprise Computing Center. For those of you not familiar with the Enterprise Computing Center, it serves as the centralized IT hub that helps federal agencies manage data processing, security, and cloud operations. So they handle the large-scale data processing for the government operations, including tax filings, healthcare data, and national security. They work with the IRS, the Department of Defense, the DHS, and the Social Security Administration. The reason why I'm mentioning this is because they are like, think of it like banking. Okay, you got an app for your bank, where you can check your account and you can make payments. That's the Enterprise Computing Center. They're not the account itself. They're just the technology that gets you to look at your account. So what is the actual account itself? It's the SSN Mort Main account. That's in Puerto Rico, which is foreign, right? So the question becomes, Why is it foreign? Why is it that they're foreign and not here within the United States? It's because as a international banking cartel, they can't step foot in the United States Republic. Okay? They cannot have operations here. We're a sovereign nation. So they need to come foreign. And so they got a foreign business, a foreign Federal Reserve fractional banking system, and they're operating in the United States. Okay. We're doing the exact same thing with our foreign grantor trust. And this is why we choose a non-Hague Convention region, because it's outside the foreign banking cartel's control. We're mirroring. We're doing the same thing. Now, the last one is the Treasury Department. That is the one that supplies the funds. So the Enterprise Computing Center transfers the funds and accounts for the funds that are being transferred to the Mortmain account. The Mortmain account divvies up all of the funds in accordance to the contractors who are requesting the funds from the Sista KV trust account. The Sista KV trust account is the business entity. Just like when I go to Chase and I come in with a business trust with a private entity and open up a bank account, I have a private business entity, a bank account, a computer system to check the account, and the treasury system is what transfers money to that bank so then I can access lines of credit. It's the same thing in this whole debt system that was created. You have an account number, you have a Sista KV trust account, which is acting as your business, corporate entity. You have the Enterprise Computing Center, which is the computer that monitors all of it. And you got the Treasury Department that is fulfilling that bank account. And now you have the customers. The customers are the federal for-profit agencies that are contracted by the trustee in order to look out for the best interests of the beneficiary and to protect the corporate entity. Does that make sense? That makes sense? Did that click? No? That didn't fit? Yeah?
It makes sense.
Yeah, okay.
I also was wanting to touch up on many people think that there's that we need to choose one or the other, whether it's the UCC or the non-UCC realm, so to speak.
Right.
And I think that it's clever to do both because there's public and private to deal with all the time.
You're publicly letting the system know that you are taking control over this account as the secured party, and then you only do that once. The rest of your life you'll do non-UCC. I do non-UCCs all the time for my private business trusts, because it's private. But yeah, you need to at least do one public one because you are replacing the previous.
So would you express your beneficial interest, let's say, in a private trust on the UCC side?
No. Well, my expression is the best expression is to move out, to give my notification of record, to just say, hey, trustees, you broke your fiduciary duty. There's a new sheriff in town who is responsible, who is going to be the trustee, which is now you, the living. And now you just kick them out and you say, this is the new trust. I mean, the whole trust is broken if you can prove the trustees broke the fiduciary duty. And that's what the documentation of the SPC packet explains very thoroughly.
So you're under no obligation or for lack of better terms, or perhaps I'm thinking beneficially, is there any detriment or any benefit in expressing a beneficial interest in a private trust? You could.
Yeah, because there would be a problem, because now you would break the corporate veil. The grantor and the trustee of the private trust is you, the living. You're allowed to hold a maximum of 2 positions of a trust, right? But not all 3. So the beneficiary of the trust needs to be either a different individual or a corporate entity. Well, what if you don't have children? Well, what if you don't have a spouse? Or what if you don't have a loved one? Now you need to put a corporate entity there. 99% of you choose your corporate entity, which is your birth certificate. Your birth certificate is a commercial corporation made for your behalf. So a lot of people just put that. So now you are the living as the grantor. You are the living as the trustee. You have your declaration of trust document that's notarized and submitted with your SPC paperwork, and your control as a trustee. It literally lists all the things that you have power over. And then you have a security agreement that shows the protections and powers of the trustee and the secured party. Who's the secured party? It's the trustee. It's you, the living. You know?
I think there's a bit of confusion, though.
Okay.
What I'm trying to get at is, let's say you have a private trust in the private realm, and you've mailed it to yourself as a court of record, for example. Right. That court of record has a particular number, and if you were to express that number as your benefit, you have a beneficial interest in that on the public side, on the UCC 1, for example, as a public filing, you're not disclosing the internals of the trust or any of the particulars other than the reference number to the bond that's attached to the UPU, for example. Is that are you breaking any veil there by doing so, by expressing that on the public side?
I just wouldn't do it that way. I would make it a lot simpler. I would think of it like the father and the children. You know, the father trust, the private trust that did the public UCC through the SPC process, is the master account, right? And now here are all of its children. So I don't put my car, my house, and all my assets inside the master account, even though I could. It has a lot of control and power, no doubt. And I'm the trustee up here, but I'm also the trustee of all these other little trusts here. So follow me on this one. These mini children trusts are getting obligations. A lot of them really tax obligations. That's their number one problem. So I'd be like, hey, little baby, how you doing today? I was like, I was good until April 15th. What's going on, baby? The IRS wants me to pay 90 grand because we were so successful this year. And I'm like, baby, man, that sucks. Let's get that taken care of. You know, let's see what we can do. And the baby's gonna be like, what should we do? I was like, we're gonna call daddy. We're gonna call daddy. We call up daddy on the phone and we say, hey, dad, listen, so I got a little bit of an obligation here. The IRS is trying to hit me up for 90K. What can we do about that? And he's like, well, as a trustee, that's now a liability. Remember, the trustee is a secured party, right? And he is bonded as part of his insurance. That $100 million bond that you create through the SPC pack, that's a really insurance. It's an insurance policy. So if anybody attacks the trust, or if there's any obligations of the trustee, who is the secured party, he has a $100 million bond to protect himself and the contents of the trust. That's what it is. It's an insurance policy. Well, gee, if I'm the trustee of these little baby trusts and I'm the trustee of the master account, and now there's a tax obligation to a trust that I'm the owner of, I now can take my master account and settle the debt. I could do an accepted for value. I could do a bill of credit endorsement. I could do a bill of exchange. I could do an administrative process. I could do a 1099. I can do a lot of things. You have a lot of options, but it's an insurance policy for protection because the debt would be detrimental to the trustee, and that's why you can offset the charge. Does that make sense?
Yep. So basically, you would have some sort of a schedule in your private trust, for example, no different to the UCC. With perhaps sub-trusts or like smaller trusts that govern different elements and aspects of your life. Would you express any of those in the UCC 1 public?
No, or I could. I can attach them to my amendment form if I wanted on my UCC 1 if I want to do that. But the easier way is just to fill out a Form 56. And then the Form 56 shows the master account as fiduciary relationship with these small accounts, but it's not directly connected to the business operations. You know what I mean? Like some people try to use their master account at the Treasury Department for all their business dealings. I'm going to go open up a bank account with it. I'm going to go operating commerce. I'm going to start a restaurant with it, which to me is not my forte because I like a little bit of separation. That's a little too close to home for me. So I like a little bit more protection. So I create that separation by having additional children trusts.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Great conversation. That was amazing. Okay. So for everybody that's watching on YouTube, I want to thank you for joining us today. I mean, it's a great subject. I love trying to make the big picture. You don't really need to know all the details and the laws, rules, and language. We have all that as a part of the academy. If you want to join our masterclass membership, you get into freshman year. Super exciting, great opportunity for a limited time. So then you get all the foundational stuff. The LMS in the back end is going to be about a week away, about a week and a half away, to where everybody has equal access to it. But I want to keep you guys, give you some confidence here that you just need to know the big picture. If you know the big picture on how everything operates, you'll have a clear understanding of what your end goal is. And this is why I set up the academy and just, okay, learn the basics, go become private, operate privately, and just get access and use your credit. Simple, straightforward. You get the whole vision of where you're going to start and then where you're going to end. And then by the time you're at the end, you're confident about how you're going to be operating at. You can kind of think of like school is done, and you can think more clearly about what it is you want to accomplish. So that being said, if you'd like to join us at Creditor Academy, go to creditoracademy.com, fill out the contact us form, or call our hotline number Monday through Friday or Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We also have an email address that you can bring on. We have such a wonderful classes. I mean, there are hundreds and hundreds of people that are in each of our courses. So it's a rich community of people to connect with. It's powerful to connect with these individuals because they will graduate as private bankers and have access to funding, and so will you. And I'm here to tell you, as an entrepreneur for many years, the hardest thing to do is not to show people what product or service or benefit I have to offer an individual. It's to find the right network of people to even have the conversation that have the means to invest or utilize my product or service. This is a yellow brick road. I've never seen an opportunity like this ever. And what I really like is that you're all motivated to graduate. So with that being said, everybody have a great weekend and a happy Thursday. My birthday's this Saturday, so I'll be celebrating and relaxing. And I hope to see you at the Academy very soon. And for everybody in the masterclass, I see you tomorrow in the morning time. Everybody take care of yourselves and your loved ones. Bye, everybody on YouTube. Bye-bye. 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 Richard, I saw you come in, my friend. Richard.